US President Donald Trump has escalated tensions with Iran again, warning that the United States could launch fresh military strikes within days if Tehran continues to reject what he called significant concessions that is needed to reach a deal and prevent further escalation in the Middle East conflict. Speaking from the White House, he said that he had been only an hour away from authorizing new attacks, but decided to pause after what he described as renewed diplomatic movement and appeals from regional allies. Donald Trump claimed Iranian leaders were begging for an agreement, though he provided no details and said that any deal must ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. He set a short informal deadline of 2 or 3 days, suggesting that action could come by the weekend or early next week if talks fail. And at the same time, he insisted that the United States still wants to end the war quickly and prefers a negotiated outcome. The fragile ceasefire, which has been in place since early April, appears increasingly unstable. Diplomacy has been mediated primarily through Pakistan, with Tehran reportedly submitting a revised peace proposal. However, talks have made little progress, including a lengthy but unsuccessful negotiating session held in Islamabad. Both the sides have accused each other of shifting their demands, leaving the process deadlocked. Iran has continued to take a hardline stance. Military spokesperson Mohammad warned that any renewed US attack would trigger a broader response and said that Tehran would open new fronts against American and allied forces. Iranian officials also said that the country has used the ceasefire period to strengthen its military capabilities. Iran's leadership has further threatened retaliation not only against US forces but also against Israel and nearby Gulf states if hostilities resume. Tehran's latest proposals reportedly include ending fighting across multiple regional fronts, withdrawal of the US forces near its borders, sanctions relief, release of frozen funds and reparations for damage caused during earlier strikes. Well, all these demands were dismissed by Washington, with Donald Trump calling them unacceptable. Tensions have also extended to strategic waterways. Iran has asserted greater control over the Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant portion of global oil shipments pass, while US naval forces have increased their presence in the region and imposed restrictions on Iranian maritime activity. And this standoff has already contributed to rising global oil prices and fears of renewed inflationary pressure. And behind the scenes, US and Israel military coordination has reportedly intensified. Defense officials say that both the sides are prepared for a rapid resumption of strikes if political leaders give the order, and Israel has strengthened its domestic security posture in anticipation of possible retaliation. Analysts describe the situation as a stalemate. Both Washington and Tehran appear unwilling to make the concessions needed for a lasting agreement, yet neither fully wants a return to full-scale war. And despite repeated warnings from Donald Trump, his failure so far to follow through on earlier threats has led some observers to question the credibility of the deadlines that are being set. Meanwhile, Iran continues to project defiance, and officials have warned that any renewed conflict would be met with more advanced tactics than before, and have claimed military successes during the war, while also accusing the United States of contradictory behavior, engaging in talks while simultaneously preparing for future strikes. Well, with diplomacy stalled, military preparations active on both the sides, and only a narrow window left in the current informal deadline, the situation remains highly volatile, with the next few days seen as potentially decisive for whether the confrontation escalates further or returns to negotiations. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.